And as Shrikant sir said, my new business, Macare, has also been started with some anger from my family business that I have to travel around 15-20 days a month to cover all my sites. Those are spread across India, and I'm trying to just remotely monitor all of those using these services. So I'll just share some things with you. Hello everyone, I'm Prashil Agrawal, founder of Macare. Indeed, it is indeed my pleasure to introduce you all to my company. Macare is a full-service UAV company with expertise in aerial services. We can do flight planning as per the customer and terrain demands. We have a multiple fleet of drones, with some of which are big to carry large payloads, some of which can fly into tight spaces, and some are there for the large area mapping, which can carry small sensors but can cover large areas. We have different kind of sensors such as RGB camera, thermal cameras, multispectral cameras for mainly NDVI analysis, that is for agriculture and forestry. Then we can also do very accurate surveys using LiDAR. The outputs that we can generate is either a 3D model or NDVI analysis. Then we can integrate data from different sources to generate some good business intelligence dashboards using GIS. The mission of our company is to make surveying, mapping, project monitoring and inspections process much faster, reliable, accurate and transparent. The following video will give you a better idea about the company. Audio?
Inaccurate for today's high-precision digital environment, but they come with a host of issues like impracticability for inaccessible terrain, delays due to long lead times in survey completion resulting in delay in overall project and cost escalation, inadequate assessment of potential risks and the quality of the work. In addition, aerial data capturing with manned aircrafts or helicopters can be challenging due to higher costs and inaccessibility when it comes to various types of terrain. The market expectation is for the surveying, mapping, project inspection and monitoring process to be significantly more cost and time efficient, accurate, safer and transparent, employing the latest technology. We are Macare, a full-service UAV company with a proven expertise to implement accuracy, efficiency, transparency and speed to the infrastructure sector for mapping and surveillance. Macare is an associate venture of Tejas Constructions and Infrastructure Private Limited, a versatile civil contracting company for industrial and infrastructure projects for the past 45+ years, and with an experience of executing more than 150 projects for several illustrious clients. At Macare, we render impeccable service for multiple sectors such as smart city, construction, roads and highways, mining, agriculture, railways and metros, power, amongst many more. We are proud to present complete end-to-end solutions with deep domain knowledge and execution capabilities across the entire UAV service value chain. Complete process from flight planning to capturing data using LiDAR, RGB, multispectral and thermal sensors mounted on UAVs. Processing the data using specialized software and create 3D models and 2D maps. Deriving useful business intelligence by integrating with BIM, GIS, and with the help of invaluable analytics. All in all, a complete end-to-end UAV service pipeline. Macare, your trusted partner for next-generation surveying and mapping. Taking flight into the future.
So that was the video, and how exactly are we going to do this is we'll take you to some business cases to help you understand. Let's talk about infrastructure, as I come from a family background of infra business. So this is this is one project that we just did last month. That's a survey for sewerage scheme planning in Aurangabad city. So the area you can see there, that it is a 40 square kilometer area that we had to survey. Last year, we had a similar size project in Chhattisgarh. So that survey took me around 4 months using total stations. This time, with the help of drones, we were able to complete the survey in mere 9 days with the required accuracy as per the tender. Just a new shot. Yeah. Then another use case of data captured through drones is obstruction identification. In this slide, you can see the blue line is the center of the road, and we have to lay the pipelines 5 meters from the center of the road as per the tender. So you can clearly say that it's overlapping with the private properties, and this kind of issue should be resolved in the planning stage itself so that it doesn't delay the whole project. This is a 3D model of a water treatment plant that we made in Madhya Pradesh. 3D models have tremendous potential in project monitoring, especially remotely. Sitting in our head office, we are able to calculate how much, in the first slide you can see, we are able to calculate how much raw material, that is sand or aggregate, is there on the site. In the second, we are able to find out heights and dimensions of the structure. In the third slide, we are able to find out how much solar potential is there for a building, for rooftop solar. And in the last slide, we are able to find out exact measurements of excavation for accurate billing. Another use case of 3D models is integration with BIM. So on existing structures, we can use scan to BIM technique for maybe some future upgradation or modification that we want to do, or using BIM in the planning stage itself can help us identify any future clashes that may come up when the work is being executed by 2-3 different agencies. Especially this happens a lot in industrial sector. And for project monitoring, we can create GIS-based dashboards with the help of IoT and some more technologies. We are doing a similar project with IIT Bhilai on this. Then UAVs can also have a tremendous positive impact on agriculture sector in India. Lots of people are talking on this. So here you can see in the next slide, yeah. So we can, not everyone, but those people who are specialized in NDVI analysis can identify which plants have vigorous growth, which are lost for the season, and which can be saved using some additional support. And agriculture-based industries such as sugar factories, spinning mills can use this technology for better planning of procurement and production for the season. We'll just skip through one of this. Yeah. And we can also do some crop damage assessment using this technology so that we can identify if there is any hailstorm or a pest attack. We can identify how many acres of crop has been lost for a particular farmer, and fast compensation can be given to them. For the smart cities, we can create GIS dashboards for management of the city. Just skip through this, yeah. A GIS-based real-time monitoring system can be created by integration of photogrammetry and GIS with IoT and SCADA. It can be used in the command and control center of the smart city to increase the issue identification and improve response time for any smart city management that is very necessary. Okay, so as you can see here, we are developing and testing these and many more solutions for these industries, and would love to devise, implement customized solutions for a business challenge that you might be facing in your organization. Till now, I have given you information about the use cases and application of this technology. But as a group, we are not only working on to use this technology as just a value for business, but we are also working on democratizing this technology and creating the entire UAV ecosystem in India through MacAir Foundation. Let me also take this opportunity to introduce you to MacAir Foundation. Right now, we are doing 2 projects in MacAir Foundation. First is into education and skill development in UAVs, and another is environmental conservation using UAV and allied technologies. The first project that we are doing is with IIT Bhilai. So they are coming up with a 350-acre campus in Bhilai. So that's almost a 900 crore project. And we are collaborating with 3 faculty members and 10 students of their team. And we'll be doing a 3-year-long project with, with the use of drones for project monitoring of the construction of their campus in Bhilai. and we'll be teaching the students lots of things on this end. Yeah. On the environmental front, we are collaborating with an NGO in Banir for mainly the conservation of Tukai Hill. Some of you people may know. So there is an NGO called Vasundhara Abhiyan. They have planted more than 20,000 trees in Banir Hill. So we are helping them in GIS mapping and analyzing using NDVI analysis. If you have any opportunities for us, let us know. Thank you.
Very interesting and fascinating, no? I would like to request Shailendra sir to please. Acha, okay. MacAir has been the organization behind making this event a success. So a big round of applause for MacAir, please. And if you have any requirement for any drones or anything, no, you know now who to get hold of. Our next speaker, Shruti, leads the Cisco Launchpad Startup Accelerator, which is a pioneer platform for B2B deep tech startups. As part of the role, she mentors the startups, creates value for them at Cisco and beyond, and connects them with the right opportunities. She also collaborates with the global startup players to strengthen and develop the ecosystem. Please welcome Shruti to share the idea behind the program and how can startups and other ecosystem players collaborate with Cisco.
Can we have the video played, please? Do we have the audio too? Thank you. So this morning, our Honorable Minister, Shri Suresh Prabhu, spoke about passion, patience, and persistence being the key elements of a successful startup and an entrepreneur. It's great to function as an individual if you are in the stage of ideation, but coming from Cisco, networking matters a lot to us, both from an interpersonal level as well as from a technical angle. The impact of connecting the unconnected is immense. We had Sri Anand Deshpande talk about 4 different types of mentoring today. I would like to add a different dimension to it as well. The power of peer-to-peer mentoring. People who've been there and done that. Of course, the fingerprints are unique and we're all special people. And everybody wants to call themselves as successful. And failure stories are seldom shared, but not because the entrepreneurs are shy of sharing them, but because it also provides an undue advantage for others to actively build on. So now, in this Cisco Launchpad ecosystem, we have built it in such a way that it is extremely nurturing. We help the startups fail fast and succeed faster to become bigger, better, and stronger. Today, Cisco Launchpad is a network of 32 startups, 70 plus startup co-founders, 15 plus ecosystem partners, and 100 plus mentors, friends, and well-wishers. And the effect is cascading. At this point, we are actually lucky to have an ecosystem in our own backyard, which means there is a lot of peer-to-peer mentoring and engagement happening. One startup is a customer of another, doing friendly trials and beta testing. An investor of one startup is interested in investing in another startup. So the cascading effect continues as we leverage the power of networking. So I invite you to join us at a masterclass, Cisco Launchpad's masterclass today at 2:30 p.m., where we would like to share a sneak peek into the community, a nurturing, safe community, and learn about some of the insider insights that our successful startups have access to. Thank you, SMC, for this opportunity. And I once again wish all the budding entrepreneurs and the startup founders the best. Thank you.
And she just said that 2:30, there's a, it's a master class, Cisco master class, okay. So what we have done is, there's a special room provided at this venue, where they've got a full setup, and they are there to talk about what their Cisco Launchpad can do for anyone. So please do join in numbers. And I wish that they feel that their visit to Pune is worthwhile. So please do visit. Thank you.
Our next speaker is an engineer and an educationist. He was the director of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. And I am always in awe of IIT Kanpur, you know that, right? Currently, he is the chairman, Board of Governors of NIT Delhi and NITI Mumbai. He is also a member of the Scientific Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of India. He has been the founding team member of multiple engineering colleges across the country and has prepared vision documents and charters for the IISER. Owing to the magnanimity of his contributions, he was honored with Padma Shri in 2013. Let us all put our hands together for Dr. Sanjay Dande.
Thank you very much, and I would like to tell some stories before I really give my comments, actually. I still remember when I was a student at IIT Kanpur, I used to come once in 6 months to Pune, and a relative of mine in Pune, he will come to me saying that, please advise my son who is not doing so well in studies. And so the talk will go on in some frustrating manner. Afterwards, he stopped coming to me. So I asked my mother, what's happened? That kid is not coming anymore? She said, no, he has become a very successful businessman. And he has got 2 cars and a bungalow and whatnot. So I said, what happened? They said, he started a business in Pune, which was very interesting to me. He found out that both husband and wife are working, and both will make the tiffin in the morning. And the biggest problem to make the tiffin is to cut the vegetables. So what he did was he started a door-to-door service and he will take the order the first day, and next day he will deliver cut, chopped vegetables with a plastic bag, and the holes will be so that it is aerated very well enough. His business grew and grew and grew so much that he became a successful businessman. So what I mean to say is that your ideas make a difference. If you have got the right idea at the right time, at the right place, you are going to win it. Recently, I got another example of a person. As you know, Pune is growing like crazy, and construction, with all due respects to people who make the construction, ensure that the roofs and the walls will start leaking and the water will drip from here and there. So I had one friend who is an expert in leakage consultancy. And what he did was, he has got a small app, which is like he will take his mobile phone and take a picture, and based on that picture, he will tell you where is the crack in that wall or where is the crack in the roof. And then he is, of course, a chemical engineer, so he will then dig up and then put the chemicals and make sure that the sealing will be effective. In the absence of this tool, you will find that one has to go on digging by hit and trial and then figure out where is the crack. To figure out where is the crack, this particular effective tool that he has got is making him a very successful businessman, so much that he is now getting orders in Bombay, he's getting orders here and there, and he doesn't know how to make the business grow. So you will find that the strength of an idea is probably a very important aspect of making your business grow. The second example is that some 20 years back, the government of India felt that the small-scale industries have to be in high-tech areas. And therefore, they said that, okay, we will go to the IITs and IIMs, and we will try to set up the Innovation and Incubation Center. And at that time, the SIDBI, being the Small Industrial Development Bank, whose headquarters is located in Lucknow, came to IIT, and they said, all right, we are going to set up we will give you the grant to set up this SIDBI Innovation and Incubation Center, as we call it as SIIC. In fact, in the beginning, it was not going well. When I was then the director, we made the complete revamping of this center, so much so that it won the first award from the DST as the best incubation center in the country, and Dr. Abdul Kalam gave that award to us at that particular time. Now, I will give you two examples of that particular center. One student did a BTech project on helicopter controls. And the control system that he devised was so good that it was very useful for the rocket launching or the missile technology that is being done in Hyderabad. So this student, when he completed the project, he said, I will start a company. And so he started the company, and it was incubated in our SIIC. And after 2 years of development of work, he has shifted to Hyderabad, and now he's a very successful businessman. The second one was that we started a design program called Master of Design, and 3 girls who were graduating from that program, I just asked them casually that, where are you going to go for a job? And they said, no, we are not going to go for a job, we are starting a company called Design Threads. And obviously, as a new company, they were looking for orders, and I made sure that the first set of orders for the first year were given by IIT Kanpur to this design company. And this company started growing and growing, and they have shifted now to Noida. Lastly, I would like to give a story. When I used to visit different academic institutions, MIT at Boston, Massachusetts was one of them. I visited, and whenever you talk to the students, the first question is, after graduation, what are you going to do? And believe it or not, at MIT, if you tell somebody that after graduation, you are going to get a job, that is considered as a second-class option. The first-class option, most of the students used to tell me that I have this idea, I am working on it, and after I quit or after I leave MIT, I am going to start my company. Now, I was amazed. I said that this is the real crux of an academic institution, a technological institution, probably the best technological institution in the world, but you will find that the passion of the students was not necessarily to go for a job, but the passion of the students was to start a company, and the stay at MIT was used for developing the idea. And since the networking, since the academic brains, since all the other aspects were there, they could complete the development and then go out and start the company. Not only the students, but even the faculty of MIT on the Route 128, as it is very well known, you will find many, many faculty members have their companies, the most famous being the Bose Corporation. Professor Bose was also, till his death, the professor of electrical engineering at MIT, as well as the owner of the Bose Corporation, which is a very famous corporation. And meeting him was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I will say the best engineer, entrepreneur that I have seen in my life is Professor Bose, actually. So in some sense, you will find that entrepreneurship is something which is very important in the society. In India, if you look at the history of entrepreneurship, the first phase was mostly the trading part. Then around 60s, you will find that the large companies, which were either through collaborations or public sector companies, will parcel out the job shop work. So if you want to set up a small company, it will be lathe and a milling machine, and it will be like an industrial estate next to Bhosri, and you will get the contracts from telco. And if you get good contracts, you are good enough, actually. So you will find that at that particular time, if you can't do anything, then you will become an entrepreneur. And then the government will give you the loan, or the government will give you the support, etc. I still remember in the late 60s, there were many activities, even in IITs, where the students were encouraged to become entrepreneur, but that was essentially job shop training, or the job shops which were set up around the country. The second wave came when the software industry was booming in our country, and therefore you will find a large number of software companies, software development, software services came along. The third one is, again, I will say the services sector, where you will find a large number of companies came along in the services sector. Obviously, the Bangalore and Hyderabad and Pune and many other cities in the country started growing because of the growth in the service sector, to such an extent that today 60% of our economy is services and 17% is manufacturing. The rest of it is agriculture. However, there is a small element in our economy, very small but very important, and that is called as a knowledge economy. And you will find in this very city of Pune, you will find there are a large number of design companies, very small design companies. They may get an order from Paris, or they may get an order from London, and that is to design the bottle, for instance, the perfume bottle, or designing the packaging, or redesigning a machine tool. I still remember in the city of Kanpur, there are a large number of these footwear manufacturers, and most of the times the footwear manufacturers will go to Milan for getting the design of the shoes done by the designers in Milan, which is now getting shifted in India, and you will find small number of design companies are coming along. It's a sign of a new era of knowledge economy that may be coming up in India. So you will find that these four phases are like, and you will find again, there is a certain amount of development that will be happening now with the kind of system that I'm now talking about. The first phase was where trading was there, mostly the family owned, and mostly the people who will having a small outfit of about 5 to 10 or 15 people. The second wave came along where the small companies got formed. Obviously, it was about 25, 30, at the most 50 level people, and the turnover would be about, say, 5 to 10 crores maximum. Then the third level is the middle level companies, where you will find that it is about 100 or so crores, whether it is a detergent factory in Kanpur, or whether it is a small unit in Pune, or in any other city, you will find that these are about 50 to 100 level companies of the people. And then there are large companies, which are 500 or 1,000 employment, and the turnover will be also very large. So these four phases, you will find that ABC analysis shows very clearly that the first two phases, namely the family-owned businesses and the small companies, constitute a very, very large percentage of the entrepreneurship in India, and that is where it is very important. Now, the first phase was the family. The second one was controlled by the government most of the times. The schemes were driven by the government. The third phase was where people started getting the loans from the banks became more active. And the fourth phase is where you will find that the overall ecosystem of entrepreneurship, whether it is classes like this or the training from Cisco or for that matter, overall, essentially bringing entrepreneurship in a professional manner is what is happening. Even the academic institutions are offering courses in entrepreneurships or even for that matter, degrees in entrepreneurship. So essentially we are formalizing this process. The last point I want to mention here is that the concept of placement in academic institution is probably the most undesirable element. I used to say as the IIT director that a graduate of IIT should not be looking up for a job. A graduate of IIT should aspire to generate 10 jobs. And that is where the successful IIT graduate or successful IIT will be. I mean, today when that placement activity starts, it used to pain me a lot. And I used to tell, which I tell even now, that if at all I have got complete freedom, I want to stop the placement activity from the academic institutions. How to get a living for yourself is the most important learning that I can give it to you. I mean, this whole activity of placement and then the people who will come and then take 50 people, 100 people, and the college will say whether we are successful or not based on the placement statistics. I think that's a very, very sad affair. But in any case, my feeling is that this whole activity of formalizing the development of the ecosystem of entrepreneurship, including academic world, including government, including venture capitalists, including the society and the media at large, is a very good development. Obviously, this will have some successes, it will have some failures. We have to understand, and in particularly Indian society, I have seen very important part that I have understood is that we don't know how to accept failure. Failure is an important part of life. Successes and failures are the two sides of the same coin. And therefore, when you enter into the professional world, whether it is a job or whether it is entrepreneurship, one must understand the role of success as well as the role of failure. To me, it's not simply technology, but the social science of psychology, sociology, economics, philosophy is very important for an entrepreneur. If you're not a good philosopher, you may not be a good entrepreneur. If you're not a good social scientist, you may not be a good entrepreneur. If you are not a good psychologist, you may not be a good entrepreneur. And if you are not a good economist, obviously you will not be an entrepreneur. So to me, the training of not only technology, not only creativity, not only innovation, but it is also the important part of training of social sciences which makes a successful entrepreneur. Thank you very much. I think I hope the time.
Appreciation from our Thank you.
What a charming young man, right? And we want to hear more from him, right? So we would want to hear more from you sometime. Our next speaker is a mentor and capitalist with impeccable entrepreneurial spirit and financial expertise. GR, as we fondly would like to call him, has been extremely successful in exits, and having had attractive exits from multiple businesses, he is a qualified chartered accountant having 20 years of investment banking experience and 17 years of consulting and sweat equity for startups. He is now a professional entrepreneur with 37 years of experience in diverse fields and sector agnostic, including fitness, wellness, food retail, technology, real estate, distressed assets as an alternative investment class for investors, and law app in the legal field. Let us put our hands together for G. Ramachandran, the investor of Gold Gym Chain.
That was a bad slip for a fitness guy. I must admit that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have had exhilarating sessions. I've been partially a witness to it today. What I'm going to share with you all today is my personal experience on the topic of the flip side of entrepreneurship. I have been on both sides of the table. I've been an investment banker for about 20 years. I've seen what large infrastructure, multinational organizations, conglomerates, and huge amount of resources give you in the form of comfort, luxury, of course, living out of suitcases, and you don't have to bother about money at any point of time, or resources in the form of people, technology, or anything that you want to drive your budgets. That was one part of the story. There, as a person who headed organizations, you didn't even bother to see what came to your bank account after a particular point of time. You were getting paychecks. It was nice. The money was good. The activity was routine. You continue to do a routine activity. You continue to be doing things which were monotonous, unexciting, and at times troublesome in terms of developing your mental faculties. Sometimes you wondered, what are you doing? You're passing through the motions of doing work, and more importantly, you're earning fat paychecks. Is this what you were here for? 20 years, at the ripe old age of 40, I bid goodbye to being a guy who is working for an organization. Starting 2000, I entered the big, bad, exciting world of entrepreneurship. It was troublesome when I got up in the morning and I said I have nothing to do. I have a great idea. As eminent speakers before me have said, ideas, they constitute the bulk of the thought process, but it's being implemented into action that gives you the results. What excited me the most in the entire activity was, you have an idea in your hand. It's great. But how do you take it forward? Was a $1 million question. People were there to say, naysayers were there to tell you, why are you getting into this? This is a troublesome world of entrepreneurship. The first thing that came to my mind was, let me talk to my close friends and relatives. How do they say? And you had only one answer. Don't get into it. Why are you ruining your career this way? When you got into it, you were unfortunately in a lonely planet, and one is a lonely number. You start by yourself, you become the chef, the dishwasher, the CEO, and the CXO also. And you have to do all rolled into one, wearing multiple business hats for different things. You are sandwiched between the employees and the market. The employees don't come to you because you can't afford to pay as an entrepreneur. You have limited resources. You say you're not after money, but you do need money. You say money is a byproduct of what you produce because you have a passion with a capital P to take it forward. But what happens is you don't have the money, your passion cannot go anywhere. Make no mistakes about it. I've set up about 12 companies in partnerships, exited out of 7, running 5, 3 successful, and 2 almost on the verge of closure, and I have closed 3 which were disasters. If you ask me what was my learning, every time I set up something, I got excited. The winds of change. The excitement of a boy getting a new toy, a little boy getting a new toy. The little boy in me used to spring up into action and say, let's do something good. For me, fitness was something which I never understood the word fitness. I never understood the F word in this fashion. I knew the F word. Never understood it this way. And when I got into fitness as a South Indian Tamilian Brahmin guy who never knew what is fitness, the first thing that hit me was, why have you can do your walks and you'll be good or looking good. And today I can tell you 20 years hence, fortunately, after having come to the fitness world, I have seen that if you are fit, your mind is really alert and you can do a variety of things, provided you keep a habit going for you. The problem that we have in our system in terms of the flip side of entrepreneurship is, we think it's an easy path. And whoever says that is a face-bare liar. It's not easy, it's tough, it's exciting, but it's not something meant for the weak-hearted. You need to be a brave heart for that. You need to sacrifice your family, you need to sacrifice your holidays, you need to sacrifice a whole host of things because for 24/7, you're wedded to it, you're in love with it. You're in love with your product, you're in love with the startup, you've fallen in love with it, you're not in love with it. You've fallen in love, totally passionate with it. You need to work towards it. And for that to be successful, you need to have 4 ingredients which really characterize you as a person. A, you need to be brave. You need to be a brave heart to face the world of startups because my mind and my heart used to tingle with mortification when I used to see the very same people who met me first when I was working and holding a position, and when I wanted to meet them as a startup guy, they used to tell me very clearly, hey GR, we'll meet you, we are slightly busy, call my secretary. Nice. I used to meet them in corridors and they used to say, we will certainly meet one of the days. That day never came for me. Secondly, you need to have courage, the courage of conviction, the courage of commitment, and the courage of failure. Make no mistakes, you will fail, not one time, 100 times over and over again. You can't help it, but you do fail. I have failed, but the failure has made me successful. It's the success of the failure that's come into me that made me set up more and more setups. But you need like-minded people with you. I never set up a venture all alone. I set up ventures with partners. And I found my success story is that have co-founders and partners with you and do it with trial and error, but not with trial and tribulations. Errors, yes. Mistakes, yes. Don't repeat the mistakes. The third important aspect is you need to be resilient. You may have a few problems coming your way. You will not have the cash at your disposal. You'll have a cash burn. Sometimes we call it a fad, that we have cash burn, so the company burns more cash, it's successful. No, make no mistakes. You need to go to the market. Your product needs to be good. The go-to-market strategy with the startup entrepreneurs is a nightmare. In India, we are hesitant to go to the market. When we are not comfortable going to the market to face failure, what we do is we keep on perfecting the product in words. I've been coaching a lot of startups now as a pro bono. And I can tell you one thing for sure, it can be at IIT Kanpur or IIT Kharagpur or IIT Bombay where I've been going into the entrepreneurial cells. One thing is for sure, you need to be facing the market, go to the market, have a strategy to say that if I fail, I'll come back. But don't keep on perfecting it in your small room, saying that I have to get it better and better because the fear of failure that the market will reject your product. Let it reject it, come back with a better one. But startups need to face failure. Startups need to tell themselves that, hey, I'll come back with a passion. Startups need to say that, listen, this is what I call as failure, but this is my dream converted to reality. That's a flip side. And startups need to be very clearly understanding that I am fearless. I am not fearful. I'll have fear in me, but I'm fearless. I can be saying that fear comes into my system because I may fail, I may not have funds, I may not have things going my way, but very importantly, I need to be playing a game where I'm one up in the market, I will not look back, I'll not compare myself with others, I will do something which is innovative, unique, going to take me to the next level, contribute something which is going to be a differential. I create a difference, I retain a difference, and that is a startup for the future, and that is part of my strategy to be effective, efficient, and at all points of time to be contributing to the startup ecosystem in the country. And that's what I would call as a successful startup despite the failures. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
GR, thank you so much for these wonderful words. And I'm sure after listening to you, we have got a little more strength and courage to take forward what we have been doing and promising you that we'll be more resilient from now on. Shailendra, sir.
Instead of my giving you, I like to request Sushil Agarwal to give it to you because he is the real supporter of this event.
Thank you so much.
Sushil is a good friend. He's an IITian. He's father of Prishil Agarwal. And it is due to his total support to the event that for the last 3 years, we are able to hold it very successfully. So therefore, I thought there's no other point of time where I can call him on the stage. So I'm calling him now. Thank you, Sushil.
We'll keep supporting this event through all the years to come. Yes, thank you.
And sir, incidentally, your name matches my father's name, so I am all the more inspired by you. Our next speaker, a scientist who heads NCL Innovations and Intellectual Property Group at NCL, Dr. Premnath. He is championing the cause of technology innovation within NCL. He conceptualized, raised support, and got operational a technology business incubator, one of its kind in the country, and he's the founding director of the NCL Venture Center. An alumnus of IIT Bombay and MIT USA, along with London Business School and Cambridge University, he brings with him considerable experience in technology, development, and commercialization, working with startup companies. Dr. Premnath is the co-inventor of a breakthrough technology for hip implants, which is currently sold worldwide under the trade names of Prolong, Longevity, and Duracell, manufactured by Zimmer. Let us put our hands together for Dr. V. Premnath. Pleasure to have you, sir.
Good afternoon. Me and a couple of others are standing between you and lunch. So I think I should try and keep it shorter than what the time has been allocated to me. First of all, thank you very much to the IITK Alumni Association and Mr. Agarwal for inviting me, and also the generous support that we receive at the Venture Center. And I'm happy that we are also part of this activity as well. Let me just tell you a little bit about the Venture Center before I can share my thoughts on some of the themes of this session. Venture Center is today actually India's largest inventive enterprises incubator. We are home to more than 60 companies. We focus on inventive startups. That's a niche which we are trying to fill for the country. And in doing so, we are looking at tomorrow's enterprises for the country. We, this year, won the Asian Award for the Incubator of the Year. Thank you. And our focus is on science and technology-driven startups. Incidentally, in that sense, I'm sort of a votary for scientists and engineers, and probably Mr. Agarwal has put me on the agenda to put that aside on the table. So let me first start by saying that, by the way, today happens to be Engineers' Day. And today, this is IITK event, so I'm surprised nobody mentioned that. Today is Sir Vishweswarayya's birthday, Bharat Ratna, and interestingly, a man from Pune. He did his studies in COEP, and more interestingly, he was one of India's earliest inventors as well. Many years ago, for the Khadakwasla Dam, he came up with an automatic gate, which many of you may not know, was implemented. And by the way, this was the era before electronics, right? He filed a patent for it and gave a license to the local government to implement that gate. So I think Pune is now alien to inventors, but somewhere down the road, as a country, we lost touch of that ability. And it's probably time now to pick up on that and build the kind of technologies which will shape tomorrow. And that's why I'm going to talk a little bit more about inventive enterprises. By the way, I'm a big supporter of all kinds of enterprises, and I think there's a place for all of them. Entrepreneurs shape this world, and it's important to realize that all kinds of enterprises are important. They are the ones who solve problems, and that is so keen. I mean, execution, coming up with ideas is one thing, but then executing and really delivering solutions is what entrepreneurs do in a sustainable way and in a scalable way, and that is such an important contribution. But that said, one should not forget also the kind of enterprises that come out of inventions and out of science and technology. It's easy to forget all the medicines that all of you are using today, all the vaccines that make this world possible. All your kids were vaccinated at some point. All the chemicals and materials that are there in every part of this room out here. All the batteries and EVs that one is talking about and the inventions that are powering all of those. Even the Apple phones that all of you talk about have a lot of inventions. In fact, please go and see the kind of patents that, say, a company like Apple is filing or a Samsung is filing and so on and so forth. So even the common Velcro that you use on your shoes or the zip that all of us are having on us in some form or the other, in the purse or in our trousers, is all a product of inventions. And it's important to think of those kind of enterprises as well, those built on some of these inventions. So let me talk a little bit about that, since you've heard a lot about all other aspects of entrepreneurship. When you talk about inventive enterprises, first of all, one must keep in mind that these are all businesses as well. All businesses, at the end of the day, solve problems. The solutions that they provide are valuable to the customers and therefore result in some kind of a revenue stream or a revenue model. And that is what makes the business sustainable. And this is essential for all businesses, and you cannot do without that. Let's take a step ahead and think about entrepreneurship now, entrepreneurial businesses. How are these different from, say, the mom and pop stores around you? How are these different from the MSME, small enterprises that you see around you, which pick up a piece of know-how and build some products around it? What do we think of when we say, startups or entrepreneurial businesses that we talk of as, the ones which catch all the attention? What are we trying to talk about? So I've been thinking about this, and here are some pointers which I want to share with you. First of all these entrepreneurial businesses, you will note, are very often, in most cases, ideas that started off very small, and at the time they were conceived, probably the entrepreneur was told that it's a stupid idea, okay? Invariably it is so, and it doesn't matter which domain you're in, it's always so that the entrepreneur has been ridiculed and the entrepreneur has stood up and said that I believe that this is going to happen. You can take many, many examples of this. be it a Bill Gates who thought that PCs were the future, or a Steve Jobs who thought that PCs were the future, or somebody like a Graham Bell thinking that, in the age of telegrams, that a phone mattered. Or even today, people like Ola or Flipkart coming into business at a time when people did not think that, say, a e-commerce platform was going to cut it when, Amazon was taking off in the US, but nobody believed it will happen in India at that time. Or at Ola, catching on to the model quite early in the game and making it a sort of a model which might work in India. So in that sense, all of them started off with ideas which looked small. So I think when you think of ideas as entrepreneurs, don't worry if it is small. It doesn't matter. In fact, it's a good thing, because thankfully, because it is small, the big guys, the big fish are not looking at it. And that's why you as an entrepreneur have a chance to pursue that. If it was not so, the Reliances of the world, the Ambanis of the world, the Tatas of the world would be pursuing it and not you. So it's a good idea that to look at ideas which look small but are going to grow. Clearly, that entrepreneur is sold on that opportunity which is going to grow. And when it grows, it automatically also means scalability. So most entrepreneurial businesses are also scalable. They grow large. I mean, there's a large opportunity waiting there if the thought succeeds, if the idea is right. Now, yet another interesting thing is when it gets started, the opportunity being small is something that allows a person to begin because, others are not looking at it. But another dimension of it is that the guy has an idea which needs a lot of resources if he's successful, but he doesn't have those resources. So invariably, many of these entrepreneurs are people who are invariably looking at aspirations which are much larger than the resources at their disposal. And that brings me to many of the first generation entrepreneurs who see this as an opportunity because they're not going to be having families backing their finances, allowing them to grow and so on. So where do they will invariably raise money, go in for investments and so on and so forth. So these are some key things that entrepreneurship brings in. And of course, a very important other aspect is foresight. Foresight, most entrepreneurial businesses that you see are foresight businesses. You have to see something ahead of the game. And if you're students, I recommend that all of you should focus on actually building that insight and foresight. How much time do I have? All over. Okay. So just to conclude, in inventive enterprises, you're actually looking at pulling that insight out from some of the newest ideas in science and technology, from the understanding of problems and solutions. And that is a special space which we at Venture Center are trying to sort of promote through a variety of different means and build that ecosystem to support it as well. So I think I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Okay? Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Premnath sir. We would like to hear more from you. And we have been hearing a lot from him. He has started the 101 Startup Series at NCL Venture Center, and most of us, I believe, have attended some of his sessions. So thank you, sir, for that. Thank you. Okay. Our next speaker, Sri Sanjay Chaturvedi, an alumnus of SIBM and NCC UK, has over 2 decades of corporate experience with leading companies, Birlasoft, Zensar, and NIIT. Currently, he is the CEO, MD of Action Coach India. He aims to bring abundance in India through business re-education and plays a significant role in India's journey to becoming a powerhouse economy and make its tryst with destiny as a true global leader. Sanjay ji? Okay. Yeah. I believe Sanjay ji is not here with us. So let me move on to the next speaker. Nikhil, who describes himself as energetic, doer, passionate, techie, loves to help, and highly spiritual, has more than a decade of experience in core electronics from design to production, and 7 years of running his business in Shenzhen has given him rare insights into world supply chain for electronics, manufacturing, and product development. His motto is to enjoy every moment of life, and that is how he lives his life. Let us put our hands together.
Nikhil here or not? Come, please come. Because Sanjay Chaturvedi was not there, so I was wondering. Please come up. Come
You
up.
were hiding behind, so we didn't see you. Welcome, Nikhil. Please put your hands together for Nikhil Bhaskaran.
Thank you so much. Nikhil is a good friend and a very big supporter of Startup Masterclass.
So actually, can I get the laptop connected by any chance? Is that even doable? Okay, I have an HDMI here, so I think that should work. Give me a minute. So yeah, I'm the guy standing between you and your lunch. Everyone said that. How many of you are hungry? Yeah? Very hungry? I'm hungry too. But food cannot satiate my hunger. Surely not. Is it playing? No? Can you guys get this to play? Thanks. So yeah, obviously, food cannot satiate my hunger. I mean, I'm hungry, very hungry, like most of the startup founders are. So last year, okay, they're giving out this book, Transforming India, right? I mean, I didn't get it yet, but I saw that. So basically, last year, I was running one of the tracks here, IoT, and Shailendra sir has been very, very, kind that this year, last year I communicated a vision that how things should be and what we should be doing in India and all of that. I don't look that old to talk about vision and stuff, but I did say that. And this year, Shailendra sir has been really, really kind that he put me up here and said that, okay, now that you have done something, you go up and say what you did. So thank you, Shailendra sir, for that. Thank you, really thanks for that. So I hope I don't bore you. Let's see what I have for you. Okay, so this is like a slide where you see between 1 to 1800, it's all India. The size of our economy is massive. That means we had 1800 years of dominance approximately on this world. But actually the graph starts dipping at somewhere around 1600. What happened in 1600? The British came in. So where did we really lose this stuff? Where we lost it is, we as a country lost it because before that the world used to come to us not to take our human resources, not to make us work. They came here because there were loads of products that were very innovative, that was not available anywhere else in the world. We all know our history and probably all of us are proud about it. But that's not enough, right? We cannot live on our grandfather's legacy. We need to do something ourselves. So then what do we need to do? Innovation is a solution. A lot of people did say innovation is a solution. Yes, it is. But is that even easy? Look at the number of elements that goes into innovation. Inspiration, vision, analysis, creativity, and then teamwork. That's tough in India, right? So now, I told you I'm hungry. I'm hungry to see India create globally leading startups from this country. And I have a plan. I say I have a plan, but who am I? Am I even someone to, maybe not yet, I'm still there, but yeah, like someone said, entrepreneurs have aspirations much bigger than themselves, much bigger than their resources that they have, probably even like just a dreamer. So yeah, this is my plan, and this is me for a short while, this is my history. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. I never went for a job. I mean, I just wanted to work for myself, whatever reasons. I would do anything but work for anyone. So then I started with as simple as just repairing laptops and stuff like that. Much of that, and then the major thing that I think I did different is I just bought a ticket and went to Shenzhen, China. That was in 2009. I didn't know anyone out there, and I just went and tried to figure out how to do things. But eventually, I went on to become the startup community leader in that city. I was also the first Mozilla Remo in that city. And I also got featured by the government as one of the few hardware makers, foreign hardware makers who came to Shenzhen and could run a successful company in hardware out there. They put me in Make with Shenzhen. That is my small little fame out there. That's me. So now how do we win this? Okay, so I said I have a plan. The plan is this. I think you can win. What are India's strengths? What do we have today? We have youth, we have young people, we have talented people. We cannot probably manufacture in India. That requires a lot of infrastructure. All that would take a lot of years. I think we can still design in India. Can we, like, as Indians, what has happened to us is like, we have kind of become a different breed. We are like, we also can think like West, but we can work very economically. We have very talented people out here. So I think design in India is going to work. And my inspiration for design in India comes from a place inside Shenzhen, that is a sub-district inside Shenzhen, which is Nanshan. And that's where much of the electronics today gets designed. What do you think is the GDP per capita there today? Any rough estimate? I mean, probably it's like not even communicable. So this is the number. And it's not a small country. It's not Silicon Valley. It's not a low-base country. It's a highly populated base with GDP per capita reaching this number, all because of design. So that means the plan has some economical merit that if we can do something like this in India, if we can have a small cluster like this in India, we can probably do something. What do I design? Can I design websites? Can I design apps? Can I design something else? Now that technology is the next frontier, what do I design within technology? I need to have something that I can win with. If I start with apps or I start with web, probably there are loads of people ahead of me. I'm still not going to be globally anywhere. So I need to take an area that's emerging, that's new for them, that's new for me. And that's why we chose IoT and AI. So these areas are very new for everyone. They're all trying to create startups out there in that space. So, but then how do I design? I mean, where are the skills? When I came back to India last year, I just thought it would be rather simple. I just throw money out there and I would get these smart people and then we would just go and design. But then I realized, oh God, there's not enough skills. I mean, there's a huge skill gap here. So then I got into training myself and we started skilling people. Okay, so some people who don't know IoT, I would just give a one-line summary of this. Like, it's just a miniaturization of computers. Computers started all this revolution, and then computers first went as mainframes, then they became computers, then they became laptops. And now the next wave, as I see it, is the computer is going to get very small, and it's going to get into everything out here, or rather everything that you see. So it's going to be a complete man-machine interface. And everything, the computer would not just get there and sit there and analyze or send data. It would also be intelligent computer. It would be artificially intelligent. It would have a brain of its own. This is what I see is the next wave, and I need to capture it if I need to. So what do? I formed a community out here, and instead of just me taking it as one startup, I thought, like, let me create an opportunity where all of you can participate. You can see it's a community. Each one of you will see that if we can all join together and run this initiative. So, I mean, I decided to invest in India. And obviously, we all know what is the power of India today. It's youth, right? So we invest in youth, we train them, we empower them with latest stuff. A lot of people talked before me. They said, like, you need to have the grit, you need to have all of that, you need to. But trust me, today, if you walk into today's generation, they're not going to do so much. They're not going to work so hard. That's a different generation. That's a different generation. You cannot expect the same. Don't keep putting the same expectation on the new generation. The new generation wants to play, wants to have fun, but they still want to make it big. So do I have to accept that? No, that means I think there should be a new way. So this is our new way. The new way is if you work in very emerging technologies, you have to actually work less. So what I do is we bring in all the latest stuff to India, and all of training programs are free today. We just select people based on, we look for commitment. We don't say that you can just play. You need to be committed. You need to commit it a certain amount of time, and then we give them access to all the latest stuff that is available, and that's what you see on the screen, that AI chip, which is probably, there are only 3 AI chips today in the world. One belongs to Qualcomm, one belongs to Apple, and one is with us, and our students get to work on it. Okay? Brought to India and free for all. So these are our focus areas. Much of them look different. So now I need to still focus. IoT is still a very large piece. I cannot go and take it all. So I need to focus. So my focus is, much of the first 3 parts are the same. They're all embedded Linux. And the third part is Bluetooth Low Energy. So we have eLinux with AI. And I'll just move faster because I think I'm running out of time. So this is a timeline. So far, what did I do? And last year, actually the numbers are wrong. I came here last year, August 2017, that should be. So we started our first batch with 20 people. And in December 17, we had something on our hands, which looked very beautiful to us. The next revolution that we are seeing, the miniaturization of computers going into everything, would also need an operating system. And we are one of the candidates to offer that. We created Shunya out of India, and we would offer Shunya to the world as an operating system that goes and into this space. So we created Shunya in 6 months with a fresh batch of people trained from nothing. They didn't know anything about it, and we trained them. And in Jan 2017, we got an offer from COEP, Engineers Day, Vishweswara, COEP, great place, very humbled by them that they gave me all the space and support. And today we run out of COEP, and we run this program. From Jan 2017, we have had our next batch. Today, over 700 students, guys and girls, apply to our program. More than 180 have been trained. 49 remain in the program. But what have we achieved in the last 6 months? What we did, obviously, we told you, we created Shunya. Shunya is not just an operating system for IoT. It's not as simple as that. It's also the first AI-integrated operating system. That means at a very small footprint, we can run artificial intelligence even without internet. On a small embedded device, our OS can do it today. This is a capability very few have today. We are one of them. And then obviously some of the other things is, like we are focusing on 2 areas when we say AI. Okay, so I'll go fast on that one. So we have face and voice. These 2 capabilities are put into our AI. So we can do face recognition, like we can put around 1 lakh faces onto a small embedded computer. And if you were to capture all 1 lakh faces onto our computer, how much space do you think we would take? We wouldn't take in GBs, we would take in KBs. That's something that we have done so far. The other areas that we work is router. So we have done something. We see India-centric problems. We think that anyone can solve a problem if he's given so much resources. What if we don't have enough resources? India has problems, but we don't have enough resources. So one of the solutions that I was told, I was also the Smart India Hackathon mentor, and I was told that in a lot of remote places in India, you need 2 broadband services because one of them fails. And those routers come in expensive. So what we did is we created a multi-WAN, like you can put 2 internet connections, even one of a dongle, and it can be put into a 600 rupees router. That's what we can do. So the cost is brought down from a 20,000 rupees router to just 600 bucks. We also work in automotive grade Linux. I'm going to run through that. So this is another area that we work. These are possible products that we can do. Beyond that, I would just like to say a little about our program. We are innovative. We are a fingerprint. We are unique in everything that we have done. I've never taken a template and said that this is what should run. I put my thought into everything. How should this be? If we have to train people, I said, I looked at my people. The students don't want to work so hard. We said, like, we need to make this, though we are ambitious, we need to give them time to go to college, come here, and also play. So our training program, they only need to come 12 hours per week. So all that OS and all of that was created was only 12 hours per week's work. That means we do something very different. We plan it all out. We have to all specify our goals, write an approach. How do you take this approach? The approach is discussed, and then tasks are made and worked. So students get to choose their own goals. We don't give them goals. There's no pedagogy. I don't give them all the goals. They get to choose. That's why they become passionate about it. And it's a very collaborative system. No one repeats a mistake which is already done by others. That's why it moves so fast. And we train them with leadership mindset. Each one is trained with that mindset, that you need to be a leader. If you're in this program, you're not here only for technology. You need to be a leader. But that doesn't mean that I force it on them. If at the end of it, they feel they want to go take up a job, it's your call. Go take up a job. And I want it to be a happy place. We want it to be a really happy place. I think when people are happy, they do different. They really, because if you look at our program, everyone wants to come every day morning to the program. This is some of our pictures, how we work. We have guys and girls and all of that and loads of fun. Trust me, if you ever drop in, you'll see that the amount of energy we have in our program, loads of fun. And anyone can join us. Visit us here. Anyone can join us. You can be from the industry. Tell us a problem statement. You can be a startup. Work with us. Work with our student team. You can be a corporate running a program. Give us some CSR funds. We would run, if it's in our line of technology, we would also give you some of that. If you're an investor, obviously, we are creating one of the best startups, so you can invest in some of our startups. These are ways to collaborate with us. You can go to that link, iot.in/IoTV, and just type in if you want to say something or you join us. I guess that's it from me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil. It was a pleasure to hear all that big things that you are doing. Right now, I can say only that, big things, until we get into it. And I would request Shailendra sir to please felicitate Nikhil.
Nikhil, you want to announce the lunch? Not you, not Nikhil, Nitin Parab, sorry, I meant Nitin Parab. He said he wants to announce the lunch with some motivational, whatever, please.
Brilliant, Nikhil. I met you 1 year back. I never knew you would transform so much. It's a hats off. Having said that, with the few that are still remaining in the audience over here, and I'm coming between you and the lunch, let me always say from my heart, words are all that I have to take your heart away. And what are these words that I'm going to give? These are words from a poem that have inspired me till date and will ever to inspire me all my life. I'm not going to render the entire poetry, but the last 3 stanzas. It goes, and I quote John Longfellow, "Lives of great men all remind us that we can make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another, sailing through life's solemn maze, a footlone shipwrecked brother, seeing shall take heart again. So let us be up and doing, and care not for heart's faith, ever pursuing, ever achieving, learn to labor and to wait. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra, the doors are all open."
Please join for lunch.
We have about 45 minutes for lunch and networking. Please reassemble in your respective interesting rooms after that. Thank you and see you all.